In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Good morning everybody, and welcome to this early morning edition of the Virtual Elite FPL show with myself, Stevo, where of course I will be previewing game week 16, not 15 as I put in the Discord, but whatever. And the reason why you're here, Lewis Kirkby, is to watch this show and to get any tips regarding all things Virtual FPL for tonight's fixtures, where I'll be going through what I think the scorelines will be, and of course the best captaincy pick, where I haven't failed once this season. Now I'm not going to lie, it's not exactly difficult choosing the captaincy, although certain individuals, FPL Penguin, have failed. I know Anurag failed with his captaincy the other day as well. I believe he captained Kevin De Bruyne, my understanding was, but yes, it is one for the Southern Hemisphere fans. Harbour Boy here, it's Roy 12G, Matthew Azashi, and like I just mentioned, Lewis Kirkby. Good morning all. Also, what I will be saying is that I have got some news. I say news, we all know what the news is, but I'll be reflecting on the latest news regarding Project Restart and the return of the Premier League. And to be honest with you, I'm more interested in actually talking about my opinion on the official fantasy football game, about what it's going to do. I think I've got more opinion on that than I actually do regarding the real life football, even though I've still got an opinion on it, but you know what I mean. And so this will probably go on a bit longer than normal. As I always keep stating, I will be trying to make these videos as short as possible, but when you do live streams, as you know, you can get distracted by the chat. However, I'm not going to lie, I try and avoid the chat while I do these videos, but I really do appreciate you all joining in live, and you can all talk amongst each other. But as I always say with these prediction shows, get involved. Guys, the ones that are watching, all I will say is that get involved, get your predictions in, and we can all have a laugh and find out what you guys are thinking about tonight's games. Harbour Boy, all I will say is this: I have edited a video together. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to show it on YouTube. You know why. But I have edited a video together regarding poor old Penguin. And it's a funny one. Well, I think it's funny anyway. It's a bit cruel, but we can all have a laugh. As he stated, it's only a game. And we all have a laugh at me throughout the whole of the blame in real life football. So I'm happy to have a laugh at other people's expenses. Anyhow, here we go. Like I say, we're going to just go through the fixtures for tonight's games, and then we will go through my team selection. Obviously, more importantly, captaincy choices, who I think are the best captaincy contenders and who is the best. And I'll also show you actually how I choose my captain, because to be honest with you, like I said, I've only been playing this for now 4 game weeks, and I've actually got every single captain at least an attack in return. I always say this: so long as my captain returns something, I'm within reason happy. Obviously I'd rather them get a double digit haul, but we can't always get that. Right then, so at the bottom of the screen, as you can see, it's the fixtures, and let's just get on with it. As I think it's Harbour Boy who's just said that they're going to be doing a free hit. It's Raw. It's Raw is thinking of doing a free hit just because of Chelsea versus Liverpool. I wouldn't be worrying about that game, my friend. I wouldn't be worrying about that whatsoever. A lot of people said that about the Man City Liverpool game, and we all know how that turned out. So yeah, I would hold off that free hit. I would save these chips like I have, apart from the wild card, but that was my first wild card. I'm just saving my chips for now. I'm just calming myself down. I don't need to be panicking about who I should be triple captaining or not. But anyway, let's just get on with the predictions. Let's see what we all think. And I think with the Chelsea-Liverpool game, Chelsea coming off the back of 2 clean sheets. Liverpool, I believe it's 3 wins in a row, apart from that Newcastle draw. And let me know in chat, but isn't Mane back tonight as well? I'm almost certain Mane could be either back tonight or tomorrow. Thursday. Could he have an impact on this game? I think this is going to be tight, although I did say that about the Man City game. And I think Liverpool are going to edge this 2-1. Now, Southampton versus West Ham. 2 teams that can score goals, but I think one team has got the better opportunity to be outscoring the other by 3-1. Can you guess which way I've gone? Yep, it's going to be the Danny Ings show. I think Danny Ings has got a very, very good chance of being a very good differential captaincy tonight. And I'm thinking Southampton tonight are going to win 3-1. I see that someone has bought in Snodgrass. I believe it's Penguin. In fact, Penguin did tweet out that he's now bought Snodgrass. He probably will do something, with all the players in form in this game. What I've noticed is that they always seem to continue scoring at a rate of almost like a goal a game. So I think that once a player gets in form, just jump on them. Snodgrass, Harry Wilson, Son, 3 examples. Just consistently performing, and I think that Southampton, though, will win this 3-1. Wolves, Aston Villa. This is going to be a very, very comfortable victory, I think. Although I've got it as a close scoreline, it wouldn't surprise me if it ends 2-0, 2-1. But the fact that Wolves can't seem to be keeping clean sheets at the moment, although Patrizio is back tonight. Now, I'm going to assume he's back tonight because if he is, I'm going to find out and I'm going to be bringing in Patrizio for Ruddy. So I think maybe that could shore up the Wolves' defence, and I think it could end 2-0. But I've gone 2-1 because there's not many clean sheets that get in this game whatsoever. Brighton versus Everton, two jokes of teams at the moment, and I think that actually, you know what, Brighton might actually get a win here. Surprisingly, I think that Brighton can take advantage of Everton's terrible defence at the moment. I think this is going to be a very, very high scoring game, and I'm going 3-2 to Brighton. Now then, probably the most... If we all own Aubameyang, you're going to probably be captaining Aubameyang versus Bournemouth. Is Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth, again, a team that are in a lot of good form at the moment. However, I don't think that's going to affect Arsenal at the moment. I think that coming off the back of a 2-2 draw with United, I think they're going to be confident. Aubameyang's home form is excellent, and I'm going to go with a 3-1 victory to Arsenal. Now it's the return of Pukki. People are potentially going to be bringing in Pukki for this specific game up against Newcastle. Although I do, again, a bit like with the Wolves-Aston Villa game, or maybe with Southampton-West Ham, it could be tight potentially, but I think Newcastle are going to keep it low scoring, and I'm going to go with a drab 1-1. Although it wouldn't surprise me if Pukki does score and Buendia comes in with another assist. It really wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Man City versus Leicester. Could this be the game that people are overlooking here? The assets of Kevin De Bruyne and Aguero as an example. And funny enough, I saw a video yesterday about Premier League misses of the season, and Aguero was in there against Leicester. And could that be an omen? But then again, I also saw another video where Aguero scored a beautiful goal, and it was the third goal for his hat-trick. So again, is that an omen for me? Well, I don't own Aguero, but Jason seems to have just automatically kept the captaincy on Aguero. And I think Man City in this specific fixture it's going to be another high-scoring game. I think Man City are going to win this 3-2. And Jamie Vardy, I think he's going to get a couple of goals. I think Jamie Vardy's going to go get maybe 1 or 2 goals in this game. Here we go. Here's another one. Tottenham versus Burnley. Another fixture in which Burnley can't score goals. Tottenham can score lots of goals. Spurs have got, in real life, an excellent record versus us. Albeit they're usually tight games apart from that 4-0, 4-1? Remember that game? Remember that game week, everybody, when I got rid of Harry Kane despite the fact I had a plan to keep Harry Kane for the certain rubbish fixtures, but I didn't bother keeping him for Burnley despite the fact I said to everybody I was going to keep him and captaining him. We all know what happened in that. But I'm not bitter. Anyway, so I think that this could be the perfect opportunity to bring in Son and captain him versus Burnley. And I'm very, very tempted to bring in, as well as Patrizio, take a -4, get rid of De Bruyne for a one-off game, and bring in Son and captain Son versus Burnley. Because I think this game is going to be a comfortable victory for Tottenham, and I'm going 3-0 to Tottenham. Watford United. Watford can always score. Man United always seem to score. Since Fernandes has come back, their creativity has been improved, and I think Martial and Rashford and Fernandes are going to be in on the goals here. But I think this is going to be a lot tighter than what people think, and I'm going 2-1 to United. And finally, we move on to Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. This has got 0-0, 1-0 either way, written all over it, and I'm going 1-0 to you-know-who, Sheffield United. And I think Zaha has played his last few games for me now. I think he got me an assist over the last 3. It's not good enough, and I think Zaha have fallen into the trap, and I think it's time to say goodbye. In the words of I Killed the Prom Queen, and I doubt Drazera will even know that band, let alone anybody watching this right now. So then we move on to best captaincy options. Now, as ever, I keep saying this, the way I choose my captaincy is number 1, through the fact that I look at the favoured fixtures. I mean, I'm stating the blinking obvious to people there. I also then look at the real life history of what these particular players have done this specific season. And it has usually turned out to be pretty accurate within reason. My most successful captaincy of that way of choosing captaincy was Alonso in the first game week that I played, in game week 11. Thanks to me seeing that he got the best returns out of the potential captaincies that I had versus Bournemouth, and he duly replied with a goal and a clean sheet. And obviously the favoured captaincy options, there's quite a few. I've gone with about 9 or 10 captaincy options that people are probably going to be going with this particular game with. So I'm going to quickly run through it and see what you guys think. It'd be nice to hear your thoughts. Danny Ings, 2 starts versus West Ham, no returns. Jimenez, 1 start versus Aston Villa, 1 goal. Aubameyang, 2 starts versus Bournemouth, 1 goal. Kevin De Bruyne, 2 appearances. I should be saying appearances because, to be fair, these stats are a bit skewed, as you'll find out in a second regarding Aguero. But Kevin De Bruyne, 2 appearances versus Leicester, got an assist. Aguero, 2 appearances. The reason why I don't say starts is because he made a 1-minute cameo versus Leicester. But yeah, Aguero, 2 appearances, 0 returns. Now here's the big one. Well, there's 2 big ones actually. It's in this particular fixture. It's Son and Ali versus Burnley. Son, 1 appearance versus Burnley, got a goal and an assist. Ali, maybe Penguin should have triple captained him for this fixture. Ali, 2 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists. Rashford, 1 start or 1 appearance versus Watford, nothing. And here could be another big differential for everybody that owns him. Fernandes, he's played Watford once and he got a goal and an assist. Again, is that an omen for us Fernandes owners, and maybe for people to go differential on Fernandes? Because if you seem to own Fernandes, or if just Fernandes in this game in general, anytime he plays, he seems to do really well. Now for me, I'll just quickly give you an example of how I personally choose. So I take that data into account, and I think, well, it may be real life and everything, but let's just look within the own game's basic data, and let's just take Arsenal's Aubameyang as a very, very simple example. So up on screen now, I've got the menu up, which is obviously the player data which the virtual game provides us with, and it is just the most basic information that I look for. So I just will pick Aubameyang, for example, here he is, and then I just simply look at all his home returns, because obviously it's at home to Bournemouth. So for instance, in game week 1 versus Burnley at home, 13 points. At home to Brighton, 6. Home to Newcastle, 13. Home to Aston Villa, 13. Wolves, 12. Tottenham, 13. You get the idea with that. And of course, the one game that I captain him, at home against Everton, he gets 6 points rather than a double-digit return. But the point being is that I just take that information. It just says to me, you know what? At home, Aubameyang is almost a must captain. At least you're going to get some form of returns here. If we take Fernandes as a simple example, maybe if I do want to go Maverick and captain Fernandes, I'll look at his away form, and it's exactly the same process if I can find him. How many defenders are in this game for Man U, for crying out loud? So Fernandes, away from home, I mean straight away, game week 1, Norwich away, 18 points. Leicester, 7. Wolves, 7. Was injured for game weeks 9 up to 12. Returned, and then in game week 14, 5 points away at Southampton, but that is after injury. So certainly again, Fernandes, away from home, maybe somebody to look at. But as you can see here, he's virtually returning in every single game. And if we look at my team, just briefly, at the end of the day, my team consists, within reason, of, as I always state, the key players to their respective teams. So Salah for Liverpool, De Bruyne Man City, Fernandes United, Leicester with Perez at the moment. Zaha, Crystal Palace, he's the front man, you know, probably being used as a striker by Hodgson at the moment. Aubameyang, the front man for Arsenal. Danny Ings, of course. I mean, if we were to quickly do that basic player data for Danny Ings as a simple example. It'd be interesting to see what kind of information crops up for him. Because like I said, he hasn't returned in the 2 fixtures versus West Ham. But if we were to look at his returns at home in this specific game, we will hopefully see that he's returned quite well at home. But as you can, it's all just single digits. But at home, 6 versus Watford, 8 at Leicester, 7 at home to Chelsea, 8 at home to Man United. So look at the form there since game week 11. One goal. He's basically scored a goal in every single game, apart from, of course, the game week I bring him in, which was last game week 15, where he only got an assist. So for me personally, looking at all that simple data, I will probably stick with Aubameyang. Just looking at that most basic data possible, I will probably be sticking with Aubameyang as my captain. Because to be honest with you, Bournemouth at home, despite the form at the moment, I think that Arsenal should take him to the cleaners. And I predicted 3-1 anyway. So yeah, there we have it. So moving on to the real life world of football, and you may or may not be aware that there's been some talk of potential return of football in general in this country. So I thought I'd just read out a statement right now. It's going to be up on the screen for you to be able to look at as well, from Richard Masters. So the Premier, I'm just going to read, and you can listen in if you're not interested. Then I'll see you later. Premier League Chief Executive Richard Masters says curtailing the 2019-2020 season was discussed by top flight clubs for the first time at Monday's shareholders meeting. He also revealed there is an ongoing dialogue with the government and other authorities about finishing the Premier League season at neutral grounds, as it was reported that the league would ask again to be able to finish the campaign on home and away basis. The government's, can't mention that word, recovery strategy document C19 recovery strategy document sets out the possibility for professional sport to return behind closed doors no earlier than June the 1st. Doesn't apply to wrestling though, does it? And while the Premier League remains committed to restart, Masters said the idea of curtailment was raised. It was the first time we discussed curtailment. It's still our aim to finish the season, obviously, but it's important to discuss all options with our clubs, he said. The contents of that discussion have to remain confidential. What I can say is that all of the talk was about finishing the season. No conclusions were reached on any other models. Those are future conversations we may need to have. It is understood clubs were told at the shareholders meeting on May the 1st that the only way to complete the season in a way which satisfies both the government and the police was to play at 8 to 10 approved neutral venues. It is an ongoing dialogue, and obviously since C19 became an issue, we've been talking to the authorities about the conditions in which we could get the Premier League back up and running and taking all that advice on board. But it is an ongoing dialogue. There is not much I can say about that other than we are in contact with the authorities and listening to the advice while also representing club views in those discussions. The government's recovery strategy mentioned the need to avoid the risk of large-scale social contact when the competition does resume behind closed doors. And finally, Masters said the hope was for the league to resume in the middle of June, but that work was still required to finalise the return to training protocols, not least the buy-in of the players and managers. We have protocols created and reviewed. We have a testing company appointed, but the important consultation with players and managers is the next step. Nothing has been agreed and nothing will be agreed until we have spoken to both the managers and the players, he said. So there we have it on that point of view there. From my personal point of view, I just think that the health and safety of everybody involved is paramount. I just don't understand this desperation, this need to get this season underway as possible. There are some selfish pieces of, insert the S word there, that I personally know that seem to think that the Premier League needs to return to tomorrow in full full capacity stadiums, you're morons. I don't understand why people seem to think that because a Premier League footballer is a millionaire, it means that they're immune to this pandemic. It just blows my mind. It really does. I couldn't give a stuff about this at the moment. All I care about is the safety of everybody and making sure that everybody takes the precautions needed to avoid being infected. Let's be honest here. And not only that, but if you are infected, maybe potentially passing it on to family members. The fact that there's a chance that this Premier League season may start in June at some point, I still think it's too soon. There's still clubs coming out, Brighton for example, coming out saying certain players have got the illness. Was it Dresden in Germany? A Division 2 team, I believe. They've had to quarantine for 14 days. There needs to be something in place where it feels safe enough for the return, and I still think June is too early. I still think June is way too early for this. I was reading a wonderful article from Football 365. One of their journalists interviewed a current Premier League player. Obviously, that individual was anonymous. There's no indication of what club he plays for. All I do know is that it's pretty obvious that the guy's in his late 20s, possibly early 30s, but I think late 20s. He plays for somebody in the mid to lower table teams, so I'm guessing someone like Bournemouth, West Ham, maybe. Based on the information that I have read of this guy during the interview process, it would appear that it would be someone like a mid-table team, at a guess. But I honestly don't know. But he, as a current Premier League footballer, has categorically said that none of his team members want to go back to work. They don't feel safe in this environment at the moment, and they think it's ridiculous. His personal opinion is that he believes what will happen is that it will get closer to June, and once again the deal of getting the games underway will fall flat again, and he thinks that it will be something to do around September time that they will conclude this season. Whether it's it will be behind closed doors. I've already given you my opinion on that. I think that if it is behind closed doors, we are going to be seeing games that are going to be such high scoring matches. We're talking like the Liverpool game the other day against Norwich. We're talking 7-0ers. I think we're going to see like 6-alls. I think it's going to be absolutely crazy. I think from anybody that's watching this that's obviously takes the fantasy football game seriously, I think we're all going to be in for a right laugh. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be an absolute funniest thing we'll ever cover in the history of fantasy football. I really, really do. I think some games that we think are going to be high scoring will probably end up 0-0. Obviously, there'll be games that are realistic scorelines. I mean, but if you're going to be doing, like, for example, Crystal Palace versus Burnley, that's got 0-0 written all over it. None of the players will even give a damn about it. But teams like Liverpool up against Norwich, as an example, 7-0. I mean, double that will probably be 14-0. Norwich couldn't care less. They couldn't care less whether they're fighting for something or not. They're down. They're gone. What do they got to play for? They don't care. Liverpool are going to be wanting to get that title ASAP. So I think there's going to be a lot of demolishments here. Regarding the actual game itself, official FPL, all this talk about a mega game week 38, I just think is a load of nonsense. I just can't see it happening myself. Someone put out on Twitter the other day a poll. What do you think will be happening with the official game? I personally said that it gave me several options, but I think that at the end of the day, the options that it gave me wasn't there. So I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to comment what option I think should be there. And it was the fact that they're just going to implement, game week 39, 40, 41, whatever. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Because this week is actually game week 38. So Sunday, sorry. So Sunday is game week 38 of this game. Well, that's still two weeks. 2 weeks behind when the lockdown is supposed to be coming out. So the game has to really... I think the game has done what it's needed to do by just continuing, even though I disagree with this, but whatever. The game has continued the way it is. And that's the way they've decided to do it, which I think is just a bit of a farce, but whatever. But interestingly, I just think that the actual game itself maybe could be coming out with a statement to reassure serious players what's going on. All the casual players, of the 7 million people that play the game, I've already stated this 1,000 times, there's only going to be about 200,000 people, if that take the game seriously. People that watch shows like this and various other YouTube content creators. There's only a very, 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 very small market of those types of players. And for your casual players that don't consume content like this or go on various forum sites, they won't even know the game exists anymore. So I think that a statement should be coming out from them just to clarify kind of what's going on here. And when it is resumed, I think the game is going to continue as normal. If you've got all your chips intact like I have, then you've got all your chips intact. If you've used all of them, you've used all of them. They ain't going to come... Well, I really do not think that with a lot of people what they're saying is they're saying that, oh, they're going to give you a free wildcard. Clear off. You know, at the end of the day, I anything I participate in, I take within reason seriously enough where I want to try and win. Or do well at it, well enough where I kind of like get some enjoyment from what I'm doing and you know, like to comment on it. Whether it's a TV show, I get invested in it and like to make comment on what's good and bad about it. Whether it's a game like this, fantasy football, where, you know, we make decisions about where we're taking our team. Whether it's when I used to play Call of Duty, I used to take that seriously as well. So I think it would be wrong for the game to kind of give an advantage to people that don't really play it properly. And yeah, that's pretty much my own thoughts. And I think that's going to be the end of the stream. So, other than that, all I will say is that as ever, FPL Penguin will be covering the games live as per normal. That will be going ahead tonight. I'm assuming it's 7 o'clock. That's my basic understanding. He'll be going live at 7 o'clock tonight, where he'll be covering all the games live. I will then be listening in tomorrow, and I will most certainly be doing my reaction the following day if it's required. Maybe another 7-0 to Liverpool, you never know. But all I can tell you that is that there is a very, very, very high chance that on Sunday I will personally be covering the games live. I'm going to be speaking to Penguin in a minute. I say speaking to him, you know what I mean. I'm going to be messaging Penguin about that. There's a chance there could be a collaboration, or he has the day off and I take over for a one-off. Who knows? But yeah, certainly this Sunday there is a very, very high chance that I'll be covering the games live. Other than that, everybody, all I will say is that thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video as ever, just simply hit the like button. Oh, and by the way, thanks to everybody that's been unsubscribing. I bet you've missed that, everybody. Unsubscribing, incredible. Ironically, people have been saying that they've been really enjoying these videos, yet our subscribers are going down. Makes no sense to me. So, that's to you.